after we started our broadcast this evening, and we discovered that for some reason the broadcast was terminated. So we're going to start over here, but we're not going to do the Marengo mic intro. We're going to start here with me coming on and welcoming everyone. So sorry for this confusion tonight, but this, technology is great as long as it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. So I hope that we are broadcasting through our state Facebook page, and as well as on our YouTube channel. So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for this confusion, but we're going to give it another try tonight. Then that's all we can do. So once again, my name's Dale Parrish. I'm the state director for Convention of States here in Indiana, and I want to again thank everyone for the overwhelming response that you have given to us here in Indiana. We've been bombarded with new memberships and new leadership individuals. So we're very, very thankful for that. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned before, we're working on a revised Marengo mic intro due to the great turnout that we've been experiencing with new members. So be looking for that in upcoming broadcasts. So once again, my name's Dale Parrish, State Director, COS Indiana. Also want to mention that we are live streaming on our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. I hope we are live streaming again on our YouTube channel. So I know we were at one point this evening, but apparently that got terminated as well. But I think we're back on track now. I think we're broadcasting again on our YouTube channel. I might mention, if you are viewing on our YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button, and so you can stay in touch with what we're doing on our YouTube channel, because it is much more. It's an educational resource, and I'll be talking about that in very shortly here. Now, just briefly, I want to go through the segments of our broadcast so you'll know what to expect tonight. The first segment is going to be the interview segment. Now, normally we have one of our leadership individuals on. I always like to bring on leadership individuals, especially new ones, to introduce those to you. But from time to time, we have a young lady that we call our super volunteer, Debbie Stewart. And Debbie's going to come on tonight and give us our first civics lesson. Debbie normally does the Constitutional Literacy series, which she will continue to do. But she's starting a new series tonight, and it's called Civics. So we're going to bring Debbie on to give us a new civics lesson, our first civics lesson this evening. So we'll be bringing her on in the first segment. Then in our second segment will be the information segment, and this will be where I'll bring up my PowerPoint and give you some information about how we're doing here in the state of Indiana. Okay. And also let you know what to expect on our next broadcast, which will be next Monday evening at 7 p.m. Viewer comments, we will do our best to recognize any viewer comments that we have this evening. And that includes our YouTube broadcast live streaming. You can submit a comment or a question. Keep them brief, as I'm limited to the number of characters that I can display. So that'll be in the viewer comments. Contributors is our fourth segment. In this segment, we have some individuals that we've designated as COS Indiana Live contributors. And these are individuals that submit to me some pre-recorded dissertations, opinions, whatever is on their mind, okay? And one of our favorites is John Ackerman, who we call his contributions John's Journal. And I'm going to be playing one that I played last Monday but apparently due to some technical problems, didn't come out right. So I'm going to be playing that again for you this evening. Now, in the final segment, then, it's what I call the invitation segment. In this segment, I will be giving you some more information about Convention Estates, and then I'm going to invite you to join Convention Estates, and then I will tell you how you can go about doing that. So that'll be in the final segment, the invitation segment. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up again Debbie. I really appreciate her being so cooperative on this, but it's, with technology, it's the way it happens. So let me bring Debbie up, and I'll unmute her so you can all hear her. There she is. There she is. Hi, Debbie. Debbie, you understand how this works with technology. So I'm sorry that you have to start over on this again, but it's fine with me because I love hearing you talk about civics. I think this is going to be a great series. So as I mentioned, Debbie has presented in the past the Constitutional Literacy series, and she will continue. We're going to finish up that series. But we're starting tonight with a new series called Civics, and this is a topic that is not taught in our school systems like it used to be. I can remember having a civics course in high school when I was back in the day, but it's a program, it's a course that's not taught as much as we would like to see taught. So Debbie is going to teach us, and this will be the first in a series of civics lessons. So, and Debbie, I understand your first lesson tonight is on America's uniqueness.
It is.
So take it away, Debbie, again.
Okay. Do we know that we're working okay?
We apparently, judging from the comments, yes.
Okay, good.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I got a little practice round in there.
Good. Yes, you did. Okay.
Okay. Well, I wanted to kick off the whole civics thing with America's uniqueness, because I feel like we live in the greatest country in the world, and in a time and an era where people are complaining about our country and we should be apologizing for this and that. I think for every 99 wonderful things, there's one thing that's not so great. So I just wanted to talk about some things that are unique to America, what makes us wonderful, what makes us the greatest nation on the earth. We're only over 200 years old, but we are, I think, the greatest nation in the world. We're truly a blessed nation. We're free, we're prosperous, we have a unique civil government, and we have a free enterprise economy. And there aren't a lot of countries in the world that have all of that. And so I thought I would take a look at what is the median household annual income across the world, the average, and it's $9,733 a year, which sounds so little, right? And then I looked at United States and a couple other nations. We're ranked sixth for the highest, the sixth highest for our annual income. And it's about 44,000 here in the US. Singapore jumps down to 32. Italy's around 20,000. Turkey, $9,000 a year. So they're a little bit below the world average. Iraq is only $5,000 a year, and Kenya is only $2,000 a year. So I feel like we have so much to be thankful for and grateful for here in our nation. So yeah. So we have the oldest living constitution in the entire world, which it's about 233 years old now. And Canada's Constitution is 154 years old by comparison, and then Australia, theirs is 120 years old. Now, there's lots of living constitutions out there, but I was just trying to give you a reference point. So we're the oldest, and Dale, I can ask you this again, but now you know the answer. But for those listening.
Yes, my answer was the average was 50 years, and I was way off, right?
Yeah, I asked him, what is the average age that a living constitution actually goes until the country throws it out? And so we're at 233. Dale guessed 50. It's actually 17 years. So the average constitution
Amazing.
only lasts 17 years before the country throws it out. So it's pretty amazing that, we have the constitution that we do. Our founding fathers were so wise and smart.
Can you just imagine the turmoil that can create when you're recreating the whole the country's constitution every 17 years or so? That's just amazing. That's just
Yeah.
that's an
Talking about an
amazing number.
uproar, just
Right,
people thinking about, well, what do we stand on? I thought we stood on this, or these were our principles. So
right,
it's
right.
pretty amazing that we still have our Constitution. Yes, we have amendments, but it's still living and it's still going. And we have 27 amendments, and we're plugging along. We've been sitting at 27 for quite a while now. So
And through convention of states, we're going to amend it some more. So
that's the whole point, right?
that's right.
Absolutely. Well, just a couple fun facts and unique facts about our nation. We're the third largest country in the world by surface area. We've won the most Olympic medals. We have the largest freshwater body of water, which is Lake Superior, in the world. We have the world's largest office building, which is the Pentagon. We're the only nation in the world to have people actually walk on the moon. We're the first nation to use the title president. So I didn't know that. That was a new one for me.
Oh, really?
We are the world's largest petroleum producer in the last 10 years. So Dale and I were like, well, that may change a little bit, right?
Yeah.
We've won the most Nobel Peace Prizes, and we're the fourth most generous nation in the world. And I can totally believe that, because I just feel like Americans live to help and help each other out and give. And I love it here. So I'm not moving anywhere else.
Okay.
But I want to make this place better if we can too. Anything that needs to get, fixed too. Okay. So those were kind of fun things about our uniqueness. Let's talk about the character and the culture here in America. I feel like the secret of America's prosperity is the righteous character of her people. And Americans are just amazing. They're resilient. They're hard workers. They help people out. They'll go the extra mile for you. And, I really feel like that's based on the fact that our country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, which really is all about the other person, helping the other person out. And, second of all, besides the righteous character of the people, is, people have a mind to work here in the United States. People work hard here. We have a great work ethic that comes from the Puritan work ethic, where they believed that work was a gift from God, and it allowed you to glorify God in what you do. And that's how we help people and meet people. Third, we have a limited government. So we limited the powers of the government by our Constitution. Our founding fathers did not seek to empower government, but they gave the government enough power to be effective, but they also not too much so that they could be tyrannical. So they kind of found that balance in there. The the U.S. Constitution is a list of things that the government may not do, which I love, because we have lots of freedoms. So freedom in politics and economics is rare. So that freedom must be received with gratitude, but also protected with vigilance. President Calvin Coolidge said, "The meaning of America is not to be found in a life without toil, but freedom is not only bought with a great price, it is maintained by unremitting effort." And we have to really work hard to maintain our freedoms. As you can see, or they're going to get taken away. There are people who don't love our nation, and there are people who want to see us fail. And so we just have to work all that much harder.
Yeah, and unfortunately, some of those people are within our country too.
They are. So we've been infiltrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but now we know it's there. So we're no longer aware. The blinders have been removed and we see it. Okay, symbols. Let's talk about some of America's symbols. We have our documents. We have the Constitution. We have the Declaration of Independence. We have our flag. What a beautiful symbol. Red, white, and blue. 13 stripes represent the 13 original states. And then the 50 stars in the corner of blue is for the 50 states that we currently have. Red means courage, white purity, and blue loyalty. So I love they wrap that all into our flag. We have a creed called the Pledge of Allegiance, which we say at certain times where we promise loyalty to our flag and to our republic. We have another creed that we have, the national anthem. So Francis Scott Key wrote that during the War of 1812 when he saw Fort McHenry getting bombed. And we have monuments everywhere. They're great symbols. The monuments that we have, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Memorial, Mount Rushmore, things like that. We have the American bald eagle, which became our bird to represent strength, power, and freedom. We have the Liberty Bell. We have our beautiful city of Washington, D.C. with all of its memorials. And I thought it was very interesting, and probably a lot of people don't know this, but most of the memorials have scripture that's actually inscribed in it. So I wanted to, I gotta put my glasses on for this one so I can see this, but here's some examples. So the Washington Monument, inside the stairwell of the monument, you'll find the verse John 5:39 that says, "Search the scriptures." At the Supreme Court, there's the 10 Commandments is above the head of the Chief Justice. The Library of Congress, the walls of the library are displayed such verses as Micah 6:8 and Psalm 19, verse 1. And then the Lincoln Memorial has Psalm 19, verse 9, "The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether." So I thought that's really neat. And I've heard people trying to scrub verses and scriptures off of things, but I'm pretty sure those are all still there on the memorials. Okay, so let's talk about patriotism here in America. Patriotism is a love for one's country and loyalty to that country. And so we had a president named Theodore Roosevelt, and he came up with a term called Americanism. And I just wanted to read what he said this means. Americanism means the virtues of courage, honor, justice, truth, sincerity, and hardihood, the virtues that made America. He said the things that will destroy America are prosperity at any price, peace at any price, safety first instead of duty first, the love of soft living, and the get-rich-quick theory of life. I mean, he summed it all up there, didn't he?
Teddy Roosevelt said those things?
Yep, he said those things.
That's a long time ago, folks.
It was.
That's very interesting.
And he called that Americanism. He coined that term. But we have a heritage of freedom. True patriots are trying to promote the principles of honor, faith, duty, and loyalty. Those are the patriots. John F. Kennedy said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." So patriotism sometimes means self-sacrifice. People have given their lives for our country, but for most of us, it means knowing the issues, voting for the righteous candidates, serving in the military, singing the Star-Spangled Banner, saying the Pledge of Allegiance. All that shows our patriotism. And so many Americans are totally into that. Like their flags are hanging out 4th of July. It's all, fireworks and fun. And people, I just really believe, love this nation. So most of your American people are proud to be an American.
Yes.
And then, did you want to say something, Dale? Sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. Okay. And then I just wanted to kind of end with the founding fathers. As I mentioned earlier, that our country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles and values. And there's an abundance of quotations from our founding fathers that showed their Christian worldview. I thought this was very interesting. Before I get into that, though, many of the principles in our documents were actually taken from the Bible. So I have this book right here called The Constitution is Born. And there's a couple pages that shows everything that was put into a document and exactly what scripture it came from, and it's loaded.
Right.
And so a couple examples where the 3 branches of government in our Constitution actually came from the book of Isaiah. The Sixth Amendment, which is talking about a fair trial, comes from Exodus and Deuteronomy. The Declaration of Independence that says all men are created equal comes from the book of Acts and Galatians. And in the Constitution, the rule of law, we heard President Trump say that all the time, actually comes from Matthew, Exodus, Deuteronomy, and other books. So you can't refute that. all wild.
That's really amazing. I heard this in another program or another course that I was taking. It's quite amazing that the relationship of the Bible to our Constitution, and how, of course, back in the day, you know, the Bible was the word. I mean, that was what children had to learn to read it. That was the main document, and so it's quite amazing that you point out those connections between the Bible and our Constitution. It's very, very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I just gave you like a few examples, but
Right.
there's several pages. It's amazing. But just real quick to wrap this up, I'm going back to some of the things our founding fathers said. Madison, the father of our Constitution, said, to suppose that any form of government will secure liberty or happiness without virtue in the people is a chimerical idea, meaning fantastical idea. And you know, you can't take the biblical principles and put them in the Constitution and then take virtue away and expect them to work. So they go hand in hand. And then just one or two more comments from some founding fathers here. So this is what George Washington said about the Bible. He said, it is impossible to rightly govern the world without God and the Bible. Thomas Jefferson said, I have always said and always will say that the studious perusal of the sacred volume will make better citizens, better fathers, and better husbands. And I will end with Ronald Reagan, who said, of the many influences that have shaped the United States into a distinctive nation and people, none may be said to be more fundamental and enduring than the Bible. So our founding fathers were Judeo-Christian based, and they wanted to make sure our country was founded on that. So we live in the best nation in the world.
All right. Debbie, thank you so much. Debbie, I'm going to take this opportunity to show you a few of the comments that we got here.
Okay.
Here's a gentleman that's tuning in from Scranton, Pennsylvania, saying thanks to us. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there was another one here that I wanted to, hopefully I can get it all on here. This comes from one of our new district captains, Patrick Romack. As a matter of fact, Patrick is going to be my guest next Monday evening. And he pointed out that Washington, Grant, Eisenhower went back to their rank of general after their term of president. He put this comment up when you were talking about the term president.
Yeah.
When we use the term president.
Very interesting.
This is very interesting that, they went back to the rank of general after serving as president. So that's very, very interesting.
Wow.
And there's a few more people. This gentleman here, I'm not sure. Richard saying hello, brother. So thank you for tuning in, Richard. Thank you very much. And so that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to go ahead and show those while we had your attention here. So Debbie, thank you very much once again for a great lesson, and looking forward to the next civics lesson coming up. So thanks again, Debbie. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You bet. And I think next month we're doing constitutional literacy, and I think it's on homosexual rights.
Ah, okay. All right. Great.
All right.
That ought to be an interesting one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night. All right, Debbie Stewart. Always enjoy having Debbie on our broadcast. So I'm going to go now to the information segment, the next segment, and let me bring up my PowerPoint, and hopefully I can get this to showing the way I want it to show. I'm going to bring it up here, and we're going to solo it, and then I'm going to implement the slideshow option, which hopefully will give you a full screen so that you can see, have a good view of each of our slides. So here we go for the information segment. Our vision statement here in Indiana is the same as our national vision statement: to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists. Now, we have a mission statement here in Indiana that once we accomplish this mission statement, that will bring us closer to realizing the vision statement. And that is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. Now, we have some objectives here in Indiana that we're trying to achieve here in 2021. We want to grow to 70,000 supporters. We currently are at 56,000. We want to get some younger people involved, some people under the age of 30. We have some, but we want to get some more volunteers, specifically under the age of 30. We want to grow to 7 region captains. We're at 4 now. We have 9 regions in the state. We have 4 region captains right now. We want to grow to 7 in 2021. We want to grow to 40 district captains, where we're well on our way to achieving this particular objective. Thank you once again to those of you that have stepped forward to volunteer as district captains. Very, very important position in our organization. We want to develop and implement a call to action program. I'll be talking about that very shortly. And we want to develop and deliver an education program. So those are our objectives that we're trying to achieve here in Indiana. Now, we do have some resources and some events that I want to call to your attention. The main resource that we have available is our national website, conventionofstates.com. Now, embedded in the national website is our state webpage, conventionofstates.com/Indiana. Also on social media, Facebook is our major platform. Our state Facebook page, which is the page that this broadcast is coming to you through, Convention of States, Indiana. YouTube channel, as I've mentioned before, we're also live streaming on our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. That YouTube channel is also an educational resource. We have some narrated PowerPoints on there. We have recordings of our broadcast. We have links to podcasts that our legislative liaison, Paul Phillips, does, called the Free to Be Free podcast. So whenever Paul generates a podcast, we put a link on the YouTube channel so you can easily access that podcast. Very, very good. We're on Parler at DO Parish. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and our state newsletter is just terrific, folks. Once you become a supporter and you opt to receive emails, you will be getting the state newsletter on a monthly basis. Our people are just doing a great, great job in producing our state newsletter. Some upcoming items. We've just completed supporting 3 pieces of legislation in the Indiana legislature. You may have heard about this one, House Bill 1123, Disaster Emergencies. Passed in the House and Senate, was vetoed by the governor, and that veto has been overridden. So this was a piece of legislation that all 3 of these were pieces of legislation that we as Convention of States did support. Now, the second one, 1369, firearms, that bill was pulled, and it was pulled out of committee. So that legislation did not go through the process. So it was pulled before voted upon. The last bill, House Bill 1384, civics education, passed overwhelmingly both houses, and the governor signed it. So this is a very, very important piece of legislation that we did support. And as you can tell, we enjoy civics. So Debbie Stewart was presenting our first civics lesson this evening. Some events coming up. A sporting goods store in Wabash, Indiana, called Bass and Bucks, We're going to be hosting a presentation there in May. We haven't finalized the dates. We'll be giving you that information as soon as we have those dates. Our second virtual roundtable meeting will be conducted on July 25th, so you'll be getting some more information as our plans are finalized for our roundtable meeting. Now, I want to also mention that we're starting at, now that COVID is being eased up, we're starting to get into making more and more in-person presentations. Just to mention a few, last week we had one of our district captains in Greenfield, Indiana, Jill Jones, did a presentation at the local library there, did a fantastic job. The previous Saturday, our new district captain, Leanna Crable, in the Lafayette area, did a presentation at a pub, I understand, and had a great turnout, did a great job there. So you're going to be seeing more and more presentations of this nature happening now that COVID the restrictions are easing up. And as communities get back to presenting, putting on festivals, county fairs, events of that nature, you're going to see us there with information tables, handing out information on convention estates and talking to people about convention estates. So as these activities continue to crank up, I'll be announcing more and more of these as this occurs. Now, I do want to mention our next broadcast, which is next Monday evening, 7 p.m. Another one of our new district captains, Patrick Romack, is going to be my guest. And Patrick, as I mentioned, is a new district captain, but he's also getting involved as helping out our state grassroots coordinator and helping with a tool that we use called the follow-up tool. So we'll talk to Patrick more about these items, these jobs next Monday evening. I mentioned he's a new district captain for Indiana House District 34. So Patrick is on tap for our guest next Monday evening. So that's it for the information segment. And I'll send that back. And let me go ahead and bring up now in the contributors segment, I wanted to bring up John Ackerman to give you his contribution on John's journal, which he did last Monday, but due to technical problems, it didn't turn out well. So hopefully I will get it right tonight. So here we go. Hang on. Let me.
John Ackerman again for Convention of States, Indiana. You know, one hot item in the news these days is the Georgia voter protection law, which was recently passed. One item in that law is the voter ID card. They say that it's racist. In the words of our current president, come on, man. What's racist about asking somebody to prove that they really are who they say they are? For the crying out loud, you need a photo ID to drive a car, to get on an airplane, to rent a car, to buy insurance, to cash a check, to open a bank account, to go to court, to get a prescription, to donate blood, to get a lab test in a hospital. Photo ID cards are the way we prove who we are, who we say we are. And if we want to protect the franchise and make sure that every vote counts, we will use photo IDs to identify ourselves at the polling place.
Thank you, John. Hopefully that came out okay. Hopefully you could hear that fine. Always enjoy, like I said, always enjoy John coming on with a contributor or a contribution as a COS Indiana Live contributor. So John has already submitted more to me, so you're gonna be seeing more of John's journal as we go on along here in the future. All right, I want to move on now to our final segment, the invitation segment, and I'm going to show you a short video. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is some of the people that you're going to see pictured in the video. Kind of dates the video. They're dated individuals like President Obama, but the message here has not changed, and the message here is as valid today as it was when this video was made. So hopefully, let me bring this on, and it's very short, but it explains to you what the process is all about with Convention of States. So here we go.
The United States Constitution was written to form a more perfect union that would enable checks and balances to prevent a bloody revolution from being a necessary measure to abolish tyranny. Excellent though it was, Colonel George Mason feared the national government might one day end in a tyrannical aristocracy. The rights of the people needed to be secured against potential corruption at the national level. One of the solutions the framers decided upon can be found in Article 5, which gives state legislators the authority to call a convention that bypasses federal legislators to amend the Constitution. That gives we the people the opportunity to make some long overdue structural adjustments. Maybe term limits would be a good place to start. Here's how the process works. Citizens request their state legislators to pass a bill called an application, with operative language identical in each state. These legislators of the states then pass the application. Generally, only a simple majority is needed. Congress shall, by law, call a convention of the states as soon as it receives applications from 2/3 of the state legislatures. That's 34 states. Delegates chosen by the state legislatures attend the convention. Each state only gets one vote at the convention, but they can send as many delegates to represent the state as they so choose. Amendments are proposed, debated, and voted upon at the convention. Finally, ratification takes place in the states. Each amendment must be ratified by 3/4 of the states in order to become part of the U.S. Constitution. But what about a runaway convention? Let's get a reality check. Like constitutional law scholar Robert G. Nadelson says, there are far more political and legal constraints on a runaway convention than on a runaway Congress. The convention delegates, also called commissioners, are bound to the will of their state legislatures. If they don't vote as their states demand, they get recalled. You might even get sent to prison. Furthermore, a full 3/4 of the state legislatures, we're talking 38 state legislatures, must ratify each and every amendment in order for it to become part of the U.S. Constitution. Even Alexander Hamilton and Abraham Lincoln, who favored national government, emphasized that Article 5 gives states authority over the national government. Hamilton writes that national rulers have no option upon the subject. The words of Article 5 are peremptory. The Congress shall call a convention. And Lincoln says the convention mode seems preferable in that it allows amendments to originate with the people themselves. Article 5 Convention of the States is a safe route to stopping federal overreach. Civilizations rise and fall. Let's be a civilization that saw the cycle of collapse coming and broke it.
All right. Well, like I said, as you noticed, there were some dated individuals in that video, but the process and the message there, like I said, is valid as much today as when the video was made. And so Convention of States, it's a process to bring the power back to we the people. And the founders put this in Article 5. See, Article 5 of the Constitution describes how the Constitution can be amended. And calling a Convention of States has never been done, according to an Article 5 Convention of States. So we're going to make history when we do this. And we, of course, we want your involvement, and we need your involvement to make this happen. We're well on our way. As was said in the video, that it takes 34 states to sign on to call a Convention of States. We currently have 15 states, and yes, Indiana is one of those states. Indiana was the 6th state to sign the application or sign the resolution calling for a Convention of States. So this should be a good year for us, and we should pick up some more states, and very, very hopeful that we're going to be picking up more states. So we're going to get there. It's just going to take some time to make it happen. So Convention of States, we strongly believe that it is, in fact, the solution as big as the problem. Now, I want to mention in closing here how you can get involved in Convention of States. Go to our national website. You heard me mention this earlier, conventionofstates.com, and open an account, sign the petition. That makes you a supporter, and that's a very, very important step, becoming a supporter. And as you heard me mention in the information segment, we've got over 56,000 supporters here in the state of Indiana. We want to get to 70,000 here in 2021. So that's an important step, becoming a supporter. Now, if you have some time, and if you're inclined to want to get involved more than being a supporter, then click at the top of the website on the menu selection called Take Action. Scroll down to where it says Become a Leader and take a look at the different volunteer leadership opportunities that are available. Now, keep in mind, some of these require very little time. Some are going to require more time. So you have to be the judge as to how much time you have to devote to Convention of States. I would ask you, if you want to get involved, take a close look at the district captain position. That's the position. That is a key position in our organization. They're all very important positions, but the district captain is a very, very key position. So take a look at that one if you would. We would love to have your involvement as a supporter, or just as a volunteer, or if you want to select and get involved in our leadership group, we would love to have you join us. And I just want to leave you with one thought, and I mentioned it a little bit ago, but I'm going to mention it again. When this happens, when we call this Convention of States, we're going to make history. This has never been done before. Now, Convention of States is a technique that has been used many times in the past as a problem-solving technique. But an Article 5 Convention of States for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution has never been done. So when this happens, we are, in fact, going to make history. So you want to make history with us? Come and join us for this. So with that, I'm going to let you go for the evening. Sorry for the mistake at the beginning of the broadcast. Well, it's not a mistake. It was just something that we couldn't control. So I hope you were able to get back on with us. Judging from the comments, it looks like everyone did get back on. So sorry for that, but something that couldn't be avoided. So anyway, I think it's turned out good. I think we got the broadcast in just fine tonight. So good night, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you next Monday evening at 7 p.m. So have a good